series in project management. You may be watching this because you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner. You may be a fan of Soul Salt Inc. I'm Lynn Christian, the owner and founder of Soul Salt. You may be a student at one of my other companies, Ultimate Coach University, that I founded with Neil and Dana Phillips. Any way that you found yourself to this movie, we're in the last section. So this completes the movies and the tutorials on project management. I have with me today Jane Layton, who's an experienced project manager. She has more experience than I do. We met when I was teaching and performing project management duties at Franklin Covey. I was a coach there, doing Franklin Covey coaching and training of their curriculum. And so I ran into Jane. And what we're sharing today are the last pieces. The last part is actually the longest part, although we'll spend less time talking about it because you spend more time doing it, and that is the do it part. You actually launch the project and start following your plan. And so Jane, when you think about that, there are some real critical pieces that you need to put into place. And again, realize that while you're watching this, you're probably doing a simplified form of project management. If you use a lot of project management, you're going to be like Jane, and you'll have complex software, and you'll already have a process probably in your culture. If you're watching this and helping a client or taking your small business through it, it's because we have an easy, creative, effective means of sharing project management with you, and it's not brain surgery. It's not real complex. So know that up front. So Jane, what are some of the key things that you do in the launch it when you actually say, game's on, let's play, let's go?
So real quick, we've gone through the work breakdown structure. We have our risks, we have our issues that are pre-known, and now we want to start, how are we going to execute on that information? So we want to make sure that we have a communication plan. How often are we going to get together and meet, making sure that we're on task, we're on track, and we're progressing to where we need to be. Weekly is what I find most efficient for most of my projects, but absolutely there are times when daily is necessary, depending on the complexity of what's going on and how fast you need to deliver. So weekly we get together and have that communication. So what I've done right up front in the very initial part of Do It is I go through like a communication matrix and determine how often we're going to meet, who I'm going to meet with, and just make sure everybody's aware right up front.
Of the expectations. What will you be meeting about?
Absolutely. So I've got that communication matrix for you to share.
Here's something that if you're not a sophisticated project manager, you may have missed. Jane actually tucks that in as part of her planning, which you might want to do. Other people do it right as they launch, because then people are able to say, well, we should meet every other week, or we should meet daily. And I know you have some projects where you guys meet daily.
Absolutely.
Because there's an evening shift passing off to a day shift. And sometimes I've had small groups come together and they only have to meet every other week. Coaches, you will appreciate this, and really good managers and leaders, the more frequently you meet without wearing your, exhausting your team, it's an idea of how much is enough to keep the forward motion and for people to feel like it's very productive, and how much time does it each take. Some people can huddle for 5 minutes, some people huddle for 30. Our team has to meet every week and at least an hour to work on our projects. So you have to find that out.
Team size makes a big difference too. If you have a team of 3, 15 minutes may do. Team size, my current team I'm working with is 50, and it takes an hour to get through and make sure we're all on the same path, making sure nobody's deviated or moved on to another process. So that's the real key piece, I think, in the communication part, and then just making sure that we're staying on task. So you've got your work breakdown structure, you know those items that need to be done when, or what needs to be done before another one can start. This is where you start making sure that those are assigned and that people are actually executing upon those. So whether that task list is in Excel or in a complex project management tool, either works. You just have to make sure you're clicking those off and people are working on them.
And we'll get a little bit more into some of those meetings. Right now we're going to segue over and let you look at one of Jane's communication matrices and how she sets up this communication plan as they set into launching the process of actually doing the project.